What is going on, my people? Welcome back to the channel for another album review. I'm your boy Naseem the Dream. If you're new to the channel, just go right on ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell as well to always keep notified of my newest content. And today I will be reviewing the new King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard album, Omnium Gatherum. This is the 20th edition, brand new LP from Australian psychedelic rock band King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Omnium Gatherum. This has to be one of rock's most spontaneously colorful bands to come out with new music. Just to name some of my favorites, for example, from the band. From their previous LP, we got Butterfly 3000. Not a project that I found to exceed some of their past works, but nonetheless still has some plenty of great highlights onto this mix. Before this, the band comes out with a double feature with KG&LW, finding more love in the LW LP, loving a lot more of the lighthearted folk inspirations, touching up the record that I love very much. Just to show how deep the band is when it comes to the roots of rock and roll, we have the heavy identity of the dominating 2019 record from the band Infest the Rasnets. Pummeling with kick-ass thrasher hard rock, the band is chugging with heavy riffs, sluggy vocals, and darker tones. But what's probably one of my core favorite records from the band has to come from their 2017 record Murder of the Universe. 21 tracks of potent adrenaline fun fury. Really loving coming back to the record when I go back to the Altered Beast sections into the LP, really just loving wilding out with the thrash metal vibes on here. I think I see an altered beast by the tree. With just a few of these projects to name from King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, this band has proved to be one of the most incredibly dynamic, creative, and versatile psychedelic rock bands. The band just really loves to explore when it comes to the many co-ops in the core genre. Before the release of this full LP, we really received only about a quarter worth of the length preview from this album, beginning with the 18-minute long hard rock rager, The Dripping Tap. To really make it basic of the explanation of this track alone, this really just starts off smooth, steadily gains momentum, and then eventually just starts to wild the fuck out. Followed by what is probably one of the most eargasmic songs onto the tracklist, the majestic psych rocker Magenta Mountain, glimmering with cosmic keys onto the melodics and the chords, soothing psychedelic vocal ranges and popping drums all coexist beautifully on this gorgeous tune. Then we got Kepler 22b knocking up the tempo up double time, traveling through time and space upon the notion of obsession. Then after this, we swarm into the next track, Gaia, murdering the beat with sick heavy metal guitar riffs leading onto the battlefield of rock and roll. Vocally, this reminds me a lot of how some heavy metal bands went along with that dark tone similar to the 2000s heavy metal era. Almost kind of reminds me of like a Godsmack persona that also meets a Tenacious D persona. The flows on the Evilest Man from this bright pop Beatles rock jam are just a soul of insane rushes into this building powerhouse of rock instrumental. There's also a lot of supported sound inclusions, adding a lot more detail to this picture, not just into the transitioning, but the passages themselves. Not to mention it does carry on for a while, I believe for about 8 minutes. In the song Sadie Sorceress, now adapting to this post-rock punky beast boyish tune, how it has this swing twin, I'm really liking the mix onto the song as well, but I will say that the arrangement on this does feel a little bit off. I do really wish that they went to reevaluate the songwriting for the song in particular, but just to compliment the song a little bit more, the guitar licks and keys are full of wild ambition, causing much havoc that I'm really liking. Then we got Psychedelic meeting this boom bap rhythm on the song Great Reaper. The synths fly around with these digichords, jubilating wonky sounds, and bass plugs carrying over this bappy drum. Then we got more heavy slight chugs onto the chorus for Demolition for the song Predator X. You really feel them channeling and summoning that inner beast within the rock community, and it's just it's Black Sabbath. So even though I did find a good handful of these tracks to be pretty solid rockers for the most part, sometimes the transitioning from song to song won't always blend well to me. For example, from the song Gaia, we go from this heavy metal banger, transitioning into this really soft rock instrumental with a touch of experimental influences on the outro. To me, the transition just didn't really feel connected or clean at all. It was just a bit too drastic in my opinion. The oddball sound samples switching off from the Garden Goblin are just so range in types of sounds and noises. It's really hard to wrap my head around. It can be quite dizzying too. I will say there was one spicy transition onto this track list that really did catch me off guard, going from the song Blame It on the Weather to Persistence. I am really liking this mix and what they did with the sound selection on here. It's steady paced, it's chill, it's punchy, it's nice. Presumptuous makes things a little bit more weirder with some elevator rock, making things feel more multiversal and complex than they already really are, than more I can really comprehend. Especially with these random piano pauses into the track, it just really feels a little bit too random. So to say overall, I really do think there's some great moments on here. I really do think that the band puts in some great work onto a lot of these tracks added to the list. But no doubt for me, the biggest problem with this is the arrangement of these songs. Now, I don't think that the band was careless at all when it comes to their thought process of going about the track list. I truly think that this is the way that they want the listener to be transitioned from song to song. I just think the result was a little bit too wacky and all over the place for my taste. For me, I'm really not feeling for some of these moments that I'm really ready for the next big thing, or maybe just a few two steps too fast into something that I just really wasn't ready for at the time. Don't get me wrong, being in the element of surprise for a song is one of the best things you can really do to a listener, and I don't think they do a terrible job on here. But just for me personally, things on the steady pace weren't really keeping up with where I was at during my experience. I'm gonna give King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard Omnium Gatherum a 67%. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, go and like, share, and comment down below. And if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. Down in the description, you'll see all my separate tracklist ratings for the album, more videos, and also the links to my social media accounts so you can keep up with me on the daily. And I'm gonna catch you in the next one.